Teacher's Guide. The Teacher's Guide for The Way to Go was made to support teachers in the process of planning their English classes. In other words, to make their life easier. At the beginning of this guide, teachers can find a general description of the series, its theoretical framework, the basic module structure, a Get to Know Your Series section, the basic learning rights, including one page for teachers to write their own additional learning rights for English. The basic learning rights produced by the Ministry of Education include the suggested pedagogical guidelines for each grade. The scope and sequence describing language functions, text types and grammar, and lexical contents to be studied in every module. Each book contains step-by-step guidance on the planning process and didactical suggestions to foster success in learning. The document that displays all this information is the Pacing Guides, which will be described in detail later on. The sample lesson plan includes warm-up, familiarization, practice, application and assessment. The teacher's guides are designed so that each student's book page has a facing page in the teacher's guide, so teachers have all the information they need to hand, and also the suggested time to carry out every activity in the lesson. Some important elements teachers will see are the following: teaching notes, audio scripts with their corresponding track number to be found in the audio CD, students' book answers, extra activities, so you can extend the learning in your lesson by referring to the Pacing Guides. Students' workbook answer key. At the end of this book, teachers are provided with extra resources to support their teaching process, such as Gap Activity section, designed to foster students' oral production by means of pair work. Grammar charts, where both teachers and students are able to check grammar contents studied along the different modules. Vocabulary lists, summary of lexical knowledge acquired when studying each one of the modules. Vocabulary teaching tips, aimed to simplify the process of expanding students' lexicon. Rubrics. These charts include the criteria to be evaluated, with a brief description of all the possible students' performances, and suggest a corresponding numeric grade and performance descriptor. You will find rubrics for speaking, writing, and tasks, projects. Extra tasks, projects, in case teachers consider they need additional ideas to carry out final tasks, projects, to wrap up the study of a module. Writing bank, samples of different writing styles and formats with short examples. Learning strategies. And study skill. Irregular verb lists, not found in the student's book, but very useful for teachers to remember conjugations of these kind of verbs. List of online resources, with a blank page for teachers to include some extra ones of their own. This means the Way to Go series is intended to boost self-evaluation. This is why it is important for teachers to foster the habit by means of the proper use of the multiple Check Your Progress sections contained in the student's book and workbook. On the other hand, the series builds up spaces for students to learn while they're having fun. A clear example of this is the review section at the end of every unit, where students can enhance what they've learnt through the module by playing different kinds of group games, using the English language in a natural way. Pacing Guides. The Pacing Guides of the Way to Go series have been designed to provide teachers with a realistic guide and timeframe to help them customize content to different class time needs, whether teachers have 3 or 4 sessions a week. This resource is only available online. To have a full understanding of the way the guide works, the teacher should use the teacher's guide as a referent, not the student's book. Each pacing guide includes the name of the module, 1 lesson per week, the session, which provides the pages, activities, and the time you should allot for each activity. In order to get the best out of this guide, we suggest you choose the pacing guide which corresponds to the level, module, and number of sessions you teach per week. Read through the pacing guide and select the activities you want to teach and introduce them as presented in the pacing guide, taking into account the amount of time suggested for each activity. Keep in mind the guide provides you suggested scenarios, but at the end, it is the teacher who decides what best suits students' learning process, depending on their particular context. All in all, thinking about the real context where English teaching is given in Colombia, the main objective of the pacing guides is to help teachers plan their classes in a practical and clear way, making the most of the Way to Go English textbooks. To learn more about the Way to Go English textbook series, visit the website www.colombiaaprende.edu.co/Colombia Bilingüe.
Todos por un nuevo país. Paz, equidad, educación.